Maryland. It's Tea with Tamara.
Care Bear Stare. Hello, everybody. It is January 17th. I love 2018. It is already probably one of the most magical years of my life. I have a new mug. Be magical. Look at that. Tell me that doesn't start a freaking great day when it matches my book, right? And then I got this like Be Magical mug today. So I start to like download the things that I need to be bringing to you guys before I even get into Tea with Tamara. And this particular one is really such a strong anchoring part of who we are and can make such an important shift in how you show up in the day and in your business. And it really has everything to do with your solar plexus. And the solar plexus is like right in the pit of your stomach, it can kind of feel like, right? And so like I kind of asked which ones I needed to go over because it's really governed by four thoughts, your solar plexus. Your solar plexus and your beliefs, when we take everything everybody's ever said to us, right? It really comes down, if we go deep enough, into I'm not worthy, I am not deserving, my voice isn't heard, and I'm not meant to be seen. And so like, I have some really big stories in my life, how this affected, and I also want to share some stories of those who have magically been in my sphere of awesome. And so this one was like key. So I explained the very big shift, or the initial shift that happened in my business and in my life as being 2 years ago. And I don't know if you guys feel this way, but I used to say, this was my big anchoring belief, is that every time my business started to take off, something would happen with my mom or my son that would stop me. And I mean, I said it to everyone. I said it to strangers, to business people, at events, at conferences. Oh, you know, every time I go, my business starts to look really good, something happens with my mom or my son. And so like, it really stops me from being able to do anything. And it did. And it did because I believed it. I believed it right to the core of my being, to the point that 2 years ago, I was at a friend's house and we were just like playing with my website. And because I was setting up my website, my phone rang, right? And I'm like, hello. And it was my son. And he was having a meltdown because I was doing something that was really super important to me at the time that would move my business forward. So I remember looking at my phone and having a calm conversation and hanging up and continuing on. And my friend said, like, what are you doing? I said, what do you mean, what am I doing? She's like, don't you want to go? Like, shouldn't you go? Don't you want to run? Don't you want to like be there right now, right now, right now? And I was like, you know what? I called this to me. And she's like, what? And I said, I used to say all the time, every single time my business started to take off, something would happen with my son or my mom. So this is just the universe bringing me what I was asking for. And she's like, how do you not, like, how? And I was like, he's going to be okay. I know he's going to be okay. This was just the way that I knew that my own belief, my own solar plexus belief system was triggering a response in me. The next day was my birthday. He called me, by the way, and he was in the best mood ever. We signed up for Think and Grow Rich seminars the next day together. But the story is like, because I actually anchored that into my truth, like there was no other way to see it. Like that, I said it so like religiously, it became my reality, as does most of our beliefs, right? So like, it can be as simple as you guys saying, you know, money doesn't grow on trees. You grew up in a family that said it was really hard. You have to hustle. Like you have to like follow this pre-played plan. You got to get out of school. You got to go to school, get a really good, you know what I mean? Then get this job and like stay in it. You got to work like all your hours. You got to do all these things. And you go, yeah, I totally do. And you create that belief that everything has to be a struggle and everything has to be hard. And you've got to work billions of hours a week in order to get to your outcome. And the more you anchor into that, the more it tends to happen. You find yourself starting earlier every day, working later every day. It feels like a struggle, an uphill battle. Nothing feels easy. You're tired and you're heavy, right? And this happens like a lot with my clients, this particular one, which we believe that, you know, the hardness, the work, you got to work. Now, I want to bring it into the fact that we also tend to, this is also fun. I love this. I could talk like, I'm like, oh, Tamara, be careful, because you'll talk for 20 minutes about the solar plexus, because the solar plexus holds, like, sometimes it presents as like, I can't even get it. Think of the solar plexus as your junk drawer, right? So like when people are talking to you from the time you're a child to the time like today, right? And they're telling you, oh, you know, I don't even think you work, like, or you're lazy, or you look overweight today, or anything as anybody says to you, like, we can place it in the junk drawer of our beliefs if we're like, oh, that feels like me. Yes. Ooh, I'll catch that one. That one can be mine. I'll make that a belief. And you end up with like a whole lot of nonsense that isn't truth to you. It can present, like, sometimes the solar plexus is so full with other people's stuff, I can't even get in it. Because who actually goes to a friend's house and empties their junk drawer and doesn't put anything back, right? The whole thing that your voice doesn't matter. Let's talk about that for just a quick second, right? Because the fact of the matter is, if at any time that you were young, anything that you said was kind of dismissed or passed aside or not made to be real or wasn't acknowledged, at some point you kind of start to think, like, my words don't actually have value, right? It doesn't actually matter if I say these things because nobody's listening and nobody cares. And so over time, you just stop saying things. You stopped actually, you know, having those conversations, explaining your feelings, being present in that way. But the thing is, and you can look at any successful person out there, the story, your story, the very story that brought you here to this moment, to this day, on this video with me, is the very essence of your stardust and who you are and how you connect. And so opening up your throat and being able to share that story, and the fact that your voice 100% freaking matters. Not matters to me, it matters to the people that you're here to serve, it matters to your family whether they realize or not, it matters. So does you standing up to be seen, because I always say, you know, you've lived this life, this particular life, for a very particular reason, so you can turn around and serve the person that's standing next to you, right? And if you're afraid to be seen, you are going to believe 100% that you can't do it. I can't be the one, right? I don't want somebody looking at me and thinking, what if they want me to help them? Like, what if I can't help them? What if I ruin them? What if I do something bad or wrong and then I don't help them and I make things worse just because I wanted to be seen? Imagine the worst you've ever felt. Just imagine it, right? Now imagine someone brave enough to step back and stand there and hold their hand out to you and say, like, listen, I have been where you've been. Let me bring you here. Let me guide you to this point. What a powerful freaking moment in time that is, right? And that is just getting through that fact that you are meant to be seen. We are all meant to be seen. We all have this beautiful shining stardust, right? So the other piece, and it keeps coming to me and it keeps disappearing, and I'm like, oh my God, this is something I need to say. And then I start talking about something else and it disappears. Does that ever happen to you guys? I guess it does happen to me. So we have the fact, oh yes, here it is. And I know, because you know why? This is the most fascinating thing about what I'm about to say, is that you guys are actually in control of the energy of the way this call goes, and not me. And so like every time I think about it and it disappears, and I think about it and it disappears, it's because you guys resist this one. Oh yeah. So that's why I have a hard time getting it out. But the fact of the matter is, when we are in that state of I am not worthy or I'm not deserving, but this is our belief system. I don't have what it takes. You know, I don't have, like, I got to go get another certification. I need to take another course. I need to, you know, be something I'm not. I've got imposter syndrome here. You know, I'm not the one. Who's going to trust me? Who is, you know, who am I to do this? All of these kinds of things. But the fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter how like successful you get. We all feel that way a lot. Like, I signed up for something and I'm like, oh man, who am I to be in this room? Because there's some people that I've been like idolizing for a while, and idolizing doesn't exactly exist because we're all the same. And when I'm in that room with them, I'll realize we are all the same. But in the meantime, I'm kind of shatting my pants a little bit about it going, because we do carry this like fear of like, oh my God, everybody's got everything I don't have, which is not true, but it's a belief that we carry that we can't be the ones to do the thing, right? And we need more in order to be able to serve, but this doesn't exist. So I'll give you an example about myself, and then you can kind of think how it translates for you. So for me, I'm a highly sensitive person, in case you guys didn't actually know it. Maybe I have some empathy skills. I'm like, I can't affect, like, I'm totally affected. But as a kid, I didn't really understand what that meant. And so school, man, fuck, that got me bad. I thought everybody was talking about me. I was picking up on everybody's emotions. They were teaching me stuff that didn't feel good. I was like, man, this place is really harsh. And I didn't like it. So I'm a high school dropout. Couldn't do it. I said to somebody recently, I just couldn't give a fuck about shit I didn't care about. Like, it's kind of true. But it was also like the intensity. I'd come home and cry. Like, it was bad. So and then I got into finding my path. I was personal trainer, young, all of that. But for years, I truly believed if anyone found out about that, if even a whisper came out that I was a high school dropout, that I would lose all my clients, all my friends, everyone in my life would disown me. And I spent years in that fear, years. And I was at a CamFit Pro conference, which is a fitness conference in Toronto. And the guy leading the seminar, he looked at me and he said, "You're a what?" And I said, "I'm a dropout." And my knees were shaking. And I was like, he's like, "This makes me want to support you more." And I was like, pardon? And I started to bawl. And he was he's like, "Your story, you're real. Like, you've done this on your own. You've built this up on your own. You didn't have anybody else to guide you," all these kinds of things. And I was like, he's not like telling me I'm a this or I'm a that. He's like, your story, this piece of it will inspire others who have done the same thing, that they can stand in their greatness too. And in that moment, I dropped that fear and that belief that if anyone found out I was a high school dropout, they would disown me as a human being. Right? So I want today for you to kind of be thinking, the solar plexus is the key, you guys. What beliefs you've been carrying since you were young. What are you holding in your junk drawer? Right? What are you holding in your junk drawer that isn't serving you? And I want you to imagine just pulling it out like a fortune cookie thing, you know, like instead of fortune cookie and it's saying like, your words don't matter. And you can think back to an example in your life where you might have been talking to a parent and they dismissed you. And you're like, oh, I remember that one. That's silly. That's not serving. And I'm not saying any of this is kind of easy, because it's not always easy, like you guys, to like break down your beliefs and go like, oh, I'm going to rewrite my own. Sometimes I don't sleep at night. Sometimes I have panic attacks. Sometimes I have all of these like physical responses to my belief system that I have to bust through and realize they're not real. And, you know, it's all illusion-based, fear-based thought, right? Usually when we're in our solar plexus, it's like, if I do this, this is going to happen and this is going to happen. And then you're off in a like whirlwind of like 10 outcomes that don't exist. And it's all illusion-based and unreal. And then when you get into like the real love-based things, you're like, no, I totally can be seen. I can be heard. I can be worthy. I can be deserving. And I can be in a full like magnitude of love from the universe and source, because everything that I've done up until this point has brought me to this moment in this tea with Tamara with you. And I love you guys. And I see that, Kelly, you're on here. And I'm going to call you right after. And I love you guys. Like, I freaking love you. Like, I wish people could feel. And a couple of years ago, I didn't tell anyone I loved them, P.S., because I was afraid, because that was a belief that you just don't ooze love, because that's weird and creepy. But it's not weird and creepy. It's super fun and awesome. And you can love everybody, and it feels really good. And some people might think I'm creepy. And that's totally cool, because they're not my jam anyway. But like, ooh, the love. So on that note, I love all the hearts. I love you guys. I love. Be the thing that you are. Just be you. All of it. And the right people will love it. On that note, have a magical Wednesday.